Welcome. In this video, we will explore an industry standard networking concept known as integrated routing and bridging. IRB enables a router or a switch to perform both layer 2 bridging and layer 3 routing on a single logical interface. Cisco implements this using a bridge virtual interface or BVI. Huawei uses virtual Ethernet interfaces. While the terminology differs, the functionality remains the same. Let's see a case scenario where this becomes useful. Traditional enterprises designs use the branch office to central office model as shown. Typically, each branch will be connected to the central office using one links, point-to-point one links, usually on a /30 subnet. But what if your organization is deploying kiosks with a single user across the city? Connecting just 6 kiosks using this model consumes 24 IPs. 4 IPs per kiosk. Scale that to 50 kiosks and you are using 200 IPs just to connect 50 devices. That's a waste of valuable IP space. So what's the way out? One idea will be to assign a larger subnet to a group of kiosks. For instance, a /28 subnet will serve 14 kiosks. But there's a downside to this. A single malfunctioning kiosk could trigger a broadcast storm, disrupting all devices on the subnet. This is the downside of layer 2. Everyone shares the same broadcast domain. This is where IRB helps. It lets you combine routing and bridging to build a scalable IP efficient solution, especially when connecting many single user devices that don't need separate subnets. This scenario is very similar to what we have in telecom networks. Telecom base stations like Node Bs are scattered across the city. They too benefit from shared gateway architecture with isolated VLANs. Each of these base stations will have a unique VLAN, essentially giving it layer 2 isolation. But they will share the same gateway and essentially be in the same subnet. I will show you how this is configured using GNS3 in our next video. Okay, now we are on GNS3. We're just going to verify. We are not going to do the switch configurations all over again. I'm just going to show you, verify if it's properly configured. Here's our switch. We're going to verify if it's the node B's VLANs are assigned. Okay, so we have the node B VLANs, VLAN node B1 as a VLAN of 301, node B2 as a VLAN of 302, node B3 VLAN 3, and they are connected to the right port, ETH0. We can see that here, ETH0, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 0. It's connecting node B1, 2, 3, 55, and 54. So that is consistent with what we have in our configuration here. Node B1 is 200, node B2 01, node B3 02, and so on and so forth. So we're going to also check if our trunk connection with the router is like a router on a stick connection. If our trunk connection is there, so we do show interface trunk. Okay, so we can see all the VLANs are being passed on the trunk port. So that's all we need from our switch. We move on to our router. Okay, so to configure IRB, basically 4 steps. The first step is would enable IRB globally on the router. So to do that, simple, let's say bridge IRB. This enables IRB globally on the router. Then we would create our bridge group, which is a bridge group 30. Um, okay, so we'll create our bridge group. In this case, we are using bridge group 30. And we do that by enabling the STP protocol and at the same time enabling IP routing on the bridge. So to do that, you have that. Next is to actually create the logical interface that will act as the gateway. Okay, so that interface comes up. Now, I'm sure most of us are already familiar with the router on the stick configuration. What we have here is very similar to that, with the exception that we will not be assigning any IPs to these sub-interfaces. Instead, we'll be mapping them to the bridge group. So we're going to do that now. And voila, that's it. So now let's test. So now we move to our node B1 and we want to check if node B1 can communicate with the RNC. Can it reach the RNC? So ping 129.9.9.97. The first one times out. I'm sure because of the ARP request, but we can see it can reach it, it can communicate. Let's check on our switch. Show MAC address table. Right there, we have it has length the MAC address of 301, and the MAC address of the router ports because they can communicate. You can see that for the other VLANs, because there's been no communication, you cannot find an entry for the MAC address. So let's just try with 354. Okay, same thing. The first one times out, and then so let's check back on the switch. Can it see the MAC address? Yeah, and that you have is 354. So I hope you found this very useful and educating. Thank you for viewing.